but that is, who knows if it's ever going to happen.
Joe Rogan just brutally destroyed Jake Paul after he abandoned his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. All the hype was building up for this showdown, and now Jake pulls out, claiming he's worried Mike won't be in good shape. Seriously? Jake Paul, the guy who's always itching for this fight, suddenly grows a heart and doesn't want to hurt an old man? What a joke. Has he even seen Tyson's training videos? The guy looks like he could still demolish a brick wall with a single punch. If Tyson's an old man, then I'm the Queen of England, and Jake's just terrified of getting his 206 bones shattered into dust. But dear Jake Paul, there's no backing out now. You were practically begging for this fight from the start, and now that it's set, promoters and marketers have dumped a fortune into it. So, sorry kid, you don't get to just cancel it. That's why Joe Rogan is fuming. He was the first to get the inside scoop on the big fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. As soon as the news broke, Rogan couldn't hide his concern. He knew better than anyone what stepping into the ring with Tyson could mean, even for someone as bold and brash as Jake Paul.
Tyson people would talk shit too. There's certain people that are just...
Rogan's initial reaction was a mix of disbelief and worry. He told Paul to think twice before taking on Tyson, stressing that no matter how old Tyson might be, his legendary status in boxing is untouchable. Rogan made it clear that Tyson's age doesn't water down his power and ferocity in the ring. The heavyweight champ, known for his knockout power and intimidating presence, isn't someone you mess with lightly. He mocked Rogan's warnings and bragged about his own skills, declaring he'd defeat Tyson no matter what. Paul's confidence was through the roof, pumped up by his recent wins and his growing fan base. To him, Tyson's age was just a number, and his own prowess would carry the day. Rogan, with his deep knowledge of the sport, saw right through Paul's bravado. He knew Tyson, even as an older fighter, had skills and experience Paul had never faced before. Rogan's take was clear. Stepping into the ring with Tyson was a dangerous game for Paul, one that could go haywire fast.
Well, they're definitely uninformed.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. He is 57 years old. He will be 58 when they fight. He has had a long fighting career. He has been knocked out by massive men like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. You know, he's had a...
Rogan foresaw a brutal reality check. He could see the chaos that would unfold if Paul underestimated Tyson's abilities. Rogan's insight wasn't just about Tyson's physical prowess, but also about the psychological warfare Tyson could unleash. Tyson's ability to intimidate and dominate his opponents mentally was just as scary as his physical power. In Rogan's eyes, Paul was setting himself up for a hard lesson in the realities of professional boxing. The sport isn't just about muscle, it's about respect, strategy, and understanding your opponent. Rogan's warnings were a stark reminder that the ring isn't a place for arrogance, but for respect and readiness. Jake Paul's dismissal of Rogan's advice showed how clueless he was about the challenge ahead. Paul's confidence, while bold, seemed misplaced to those who knew the depth of Tyson's legacy. Rogan's prediction of chaos wasn't just a guess, it was a seasoned fighter's understanding of what happens when you underestimate a legend.
Tyson, yeah, he's 57, but he got access to
everything. And he's also doing this very unique kind of training with electrical muscular stimulation that I've talked to some people that do that. And it has massive benefits of rehabilitating injuries. And it also...
Jake Paul's confidence skyrocketed when he faced Mike Perry, a seasoned fighter from the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, BKFC. Paul was riding high, feeling unbeatable, and didn't hold back in showing it. On his YouTube channels, Jake and Impulsive Clips, he went on a non-stop spree, mocking Perry and boasting about his own prowess. He portrayed himself as an unstoppable force, completely dismissing any threat Perry might pose.
Knuckle, this is boxing. I'm like, oh, you don't know what a dog Mike Perry is.
Yeah, he's a pit bull.
You need to do your goddamn research.
Mike
There's
Perry,
no quit.
He's a game-bred pit bull.
He's going to get in your face for all 8 of those rounds. And everyone's like, oh, this...
Paul's overconfidence was through the roof. He flooded his channels with videos proclaiming his superiority, making it seem like he was destined to triumph over Perry. This constant stream of self-praise created an image of invincibility, further inflating his already massive ego. To Jake, the upcoming match was a done deal, an easy win that would cement his growing reputation in the boxing world. Despite Paul's relentless trash talk, Mike Perry stepped into the ring with determination. Perry, known for his toughness and resilience in the BKFC, wasn't someone to be underestimated, even if he didn't have a traditional boxing record. The anticipation was high, with fans and critics eager to see if Paul's confidence would translate into an easy victory or if Perry would prove to be a tougher opponent than expected. When the fight began, Perry showed unexpected resilience. Round after round, he absorbed Paul's punches and kept fighting back. What was supposed to be an easy win for Paul turned into a drawn-out battle, with Perry dragging the fight all the way to the 6th round. Considering Perry's lack of experience in boxing compared to Paul, this was a significant achievement. His performance showcased his grit and determination, earning him respect from the audience even if Paul continued to downplay it. Paul, however, was fixated on his eventual TKO victory. He boasted about the win, highlighting the TKO as if it were a decisive knockout. In the boxing world, there's a big difference between a TKO and a KO. Knockout. A KO is when a fighter is knocked out and unable to continue, often seen as a clear and definitive victory. A TKO, on the other hand, happens when the referee stops the fight, usually because one fighter can't defend themselves properly, but they're not necessarily knocked out cold. Paul's emphasis on the TKO victory and his disregard for the difference between a TKO and a KO drew criticism. He presented the TKO as an unquestionable triumph, ignoring the nuances that differentiate the two. This boastfulness and misrepresentation didn't sit well with boxing purists and fans who understood the sport's intricacies. To them, Paul's TKO victory, while still a win, didn't carry the same weight or prestige as a KO.
Back, then he's swinging from up here, so I just had to use my jab a lot to slow all of that down, and I saw him dwindling as the rounds went on, and I just stayed patient.
The Perry challenge, in essence, was a misguided step for Jake Paul. It was an opportunity to demonstrate humility and respect for the sport and its fighters, but instead it showcased his overconfidence and tendency to underestimate his opponents. Perry, with his unexpected resilience, exposed the cracks in Paul's facade, reminding everyone that in boxing, as in life, overconfidence can be one's downfall. And Joe Rogan? Oh, he's not one to sit quietly while problem kids like Jake Paul try to wreck the legacy of a sport that's been built over decades. Known for his outspoken nature and deep knowledge of combat sports, Rogan didn't hold back. He saw Paul's behavior as a dangerous mix of arrogance and ignorance. Rogan was particularly concerned about how Paul seemed to underestimate his opponents, a fatal flaw in any fighter's strategy. He warned Paul that this kind of attitude could lead to devastating consequences in the ring, especially when facing a seasoned veteran like Mike Tyson.
I told you that was going to happen. You know, I told you exactly what was going to happen. He was big upping his boy Mike Perry. I said, okay, Conor, like after I fuck up Mike Perry, then you're next. So Conor's on Twitter all the time.
Rogan's warning wasn't just about the physical dangers of underestimating opponents. He also cautioned Paul against the psychological and reputational backlash that could come from humiliating those he fought. Rogan emphasized that boxing is a sport built on respect and that belittling opponents could turn fans and fellow fighters against him. This wasn't just a fight, it was a public spectacle where reputation matters just as much as victory. Jake Paul, however, seemed immune to Rogan's advice. His arrogance and self-praise had reached new heights. This behavior came to a head in his treatment of Mike Perry. After their fight, Paul's relentless mockery turned Perry into a sympathetic figure. Perry, despite his lack of a traditional boxing record, had shown resilience and heart in the ring. Paul's attempts to clown Perry only highlighted Perry's underdog status, making fans root for him even more. Paul's arrogance had backfired spectacularly, turning what should have been a straightforward victory into a public relations nightmare. Perry didn't just take Paul's taunts lying down. He fought back with serious allegations that threatened to derail Paul's career. In a stunning revelation, Perry hinted that Jake Paul might be using performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs. This wasn't a baseless claim. Perry recounted a close encounter where he observed suspicious behavior from Paul, suggesting that something nasty was going on. These hints and allegations were enough to create a storm in the boxing world.
Might be taken. I don't know. No, I'm just messing with you.
This nigga looks like a hot pocket, bro. Everyone says he...
The controversy reached new heights when Perry decided to take his claims public. On camera, Perry laid out his observations, putting Paul's credibility on the line. The allegations of PED use were a serious accusation in a sport where integrity and fair play are paramount. Perry's on-camera exposure didn't just cast doubt on Paul's recent victories. It also called into question his entire approach to the sport. As these allegations spread, the boxing community was left in turmoil.
Might be taken. I don't know. No, I'm just messing with you.
This nigga looks like a hot pocket, bro. Everyone says he...
Rogan's initial concerns about Paul's attitude now seemed prophetic. Not only had Paul's bravado and arrogance alienated fans and fighters, but it had also left him vulnerable to serious allegations that could tarnish his career. The backlash was swift and severe. Paul's response to the allegations would be crucial in determining his future in the sport. Would he be able to clear his name and restore his credibility, or would the accusations stick, marking a significant setback in his boxing journey?
And you were able to put on, you said 230 was where you were. I don't know if I had believed that. You said post-fight you were 212 in the ring. I was like, now that seemed more reasonable. You were a little fluff.
And after such big claims, do you really think Mike Tyson will just ignore it and let it go? Never. That's why. In a bold and calculated move, Tyson responded to the swirling allegations against Jake Paul with a proposition that could change the course of their upcoming fight. Known for his ferocity in the ring and his commitment to integrity, Tyson proposed a new rule: random steroid testing. This decision was a direct response to the serious accusations made by Mike Perry, who suggested that Paul might be using performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs. Tyson's countermeasure aimed to ensure a level playing field and preserve the sport's integrity. And that's where Mike Tyson has won hearts all over the world. Seriously, what a genius move. When he couldn't catch Jake directly and knew all the tricks to dodge steroid tests, he introduced something Jake wouldn't even see coming. So what do you think about all this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to share this with your boxing-loving friends.